has already begun to slow. 4 quiet places are waiting in a single line. Nothing will rush you from one to the next. The hours can blur without effort. This is one long stretch of calm. The spaces will change, but the pace will not. And the night will keep carrying you forward. The station remains lit long after the last train departed. Platform lights cast even lines along the tiles. Tracks stretch forward into dark tunnels. Nothing here prepares to arrive. The air feels settled and cool. It moves gently along the platform edge. The words can remain distant, like echoes that no longer travel. Rows of empty benches stand evenly spaced. Metal surfaces hold a faint reflection. No bag rests on the seats. No footsteps approach. The platform feels prepared, but unused. Electronic boards remain active above the stairs. Letters glow in steady formation. No time changes. No message scrolls. The display holds its quiet certainty. Time begins to loosen beneath the ceiling lights. Minutes stop marking progress. The glow replaces the clock. Nothing presses forward. A line of columns divides the platform from the track. Their shadows remain fixed. No vibration reaches their base. The structure feels anchored and firm. The tunnel mouth remains dark at both ends. No headlight appears. No wind rushes through. Distance feels contained, sealed by stillness. A faint hum lingers in the overhead wiring. Not louder, not softer. It blends into the concrete, then disappears from notice. Time spreads wider across the platform. Moments rest side by side. No sequence forms. The pause feels sufficient. The yellow safety line runs straight along the edge. Its paint remains bright. No shoe crosses it. The boundary holds firm. Above, escalators remain still. Steps do not move. Handrails do not glide. The vertical path remains unused. Light reflects softly off the polished tiles. Edges blur briefly, then settle again. Nothing flickers. Nothing fades. No gate beeps near the entrance. No ticket scans. No footsteps echo down the stairwell. The station remains unclaimed by motion. Time loosens further within the underground air. Minutes lose their edges. Presence replaces progression. The night feels insulated beneath the city. Metal rails rest quietly along the track bed. Gravel remains undisturbed. No wheel turns. The line feels complete in stillness. Electronic clocks continue to glow. Digits remain unchanged. No second ticks forward. The display holds its number without demand. Air circulates once along the ceiling. Not enough to cool the tiles. Not enough to carry sound. Then it settles again. The benches remain aligned. The columns remain steady. The tunnels remain dark. Each element holding its place. No train approaches from either direction. vibration signals return. No beam appears in the distance. The horizon remains sealed. The station does not anticipate morning. It does not prepare to wake. It simply remains. Neutral. Reliable. Light continues. Concrete continues. Air continues. Each component maintaining its balance. No signal announces a change. No door opens. Nothing resolves. The scene feels complete as it is. The underground station remains beneath the sleeping city. The platform remains empty and lit. The tunnels remain silent and dark. Everything stays aligned, orderly and undisturbed through the long, quiet hours before dawn. The platform remains steady beneath the ceiling lights. No column shifts its shadow. No tile changes its tone. The alignment holds without effort. The tracks continue into darkness. Steel rails catch a faint reflection, then fade again. No vibration travels through them. Electronic boards remain unchanged. Letters glow in fixed formation. No update appears. The message holds its quiet place. Time loosens again along the platform. Moments do not queue. They settle gently near the edge. No direction forms. The yellow safety line stays bright. Its paint remains unmarked. No shoe crosses its length. The boundary feels exact. Escalators remain still above. Steps do not move. Handrails do not glide. The vertical path stays unused. Light reflects softly along the polished floor. Edges blur, then settle back into shape. Nothing flickers. A faint current moves through the underground air. Not enough to stir debris. Not enough to carry sound. Then it disappears. Time spreads evenly once more. Minutes lose their edges. Presence replaces progression. The pause feels sufficient. The benches remain empty. Metal frames hold steady. No weight presses against them. The arrangement feels deliberate. No gate beeps near the entrance. No footsteps descend the stairs. No echo returns from the corridor. The station remains insulated. The tunnel mouths stay dark. No headlight forms. No rush of air approaches. Distance feels contained. Light continues. Concrete continues. Steel continues. Each element holding its role. No signal announces arrival. No door opens along the track. Nothing resolves. The stillness deepens gently. The underground station remains beneath the quiet city. The platform remains lit and empty. The tunnels remain sealed in darkness. Everything stays aligned, contained, and undisturbed as the long night continues below the streets. The platform remains unchanged beneath the steady lights. No sign flickers, no panel dims. The alignment across the ceiling grid stays exact. The tracks continue into darkness. Steel lines remain straight. Gravel holds holds its quiet pattern. No vibration reaches the floor. Distance remains sealed. The digital board keeps its fixed message. Letters do not scroll. Numbers do not shift. The display holds its state. Time feels paused within the hall. Escalators remain still at both ends. Steps do not move. Handrails do not glide. No motor hum begins. The vertical path stays unused. Light rests evenly across the polished tiles. Edges stay soft. No reflection sharpens. No shadow drifts. The surface remains stable. Air moves once along the platform edge. Not enough to cool, not enough to carry sound. Then it settles again. The atmosphere stays balanced. No gate opens at the entrance. No footstep echoes down the stairs. No announcement breaks the silence. The hall remains enclosed. The structure feels insulated. Time loosens further beneath the ceiling panels. Minutes lose their edges. Moments rest beside one another. Nothing presses forward. The pause feels sufficient. The seating remains aligned. The yellow line remains bright. The tunnel remains dark. No headlight appears. Each element holds its place. No signal announces arrival. No door slides open. No wheel turns along the rail. Nothing resolves. The stillness deepens gently. The terminal continues beneath the sleeping city. The platform remains empty and lit. The tracks remain silent and dark. Everything stays aligned, contained, and undisturbed as the quiet hours continue below the streets. The platform remains steady through the final quiet stretch. No light shifts above the tiles. No panel flickers. The ceiling grid keeps its even glow. The rails rest in perfect lines. No vibration travels along them. Gravel remains settled between steel edges. Distance stays sealed within the tunnel. The digital board continues to glow. Letters do not scroll. Numbers do not change. The message remains fixed. Escalators stay motionless at both ends. Steps remain locked. Handrails hold their place. The vertical path stays unused. Air moves lightly once across the platform. Not enough to gather, not enough to echo. Then it fades again. Time no longer feels divided. Moments rest evenly beneath the lights. They do not lead anywhere. The pause feels complete. No gate opens at the entrance. No footsteps descend from above. No announcement breaks the air. The hall remains enclosed and quiet. The yellow line remains bright along the edge. The seating remains aligned. The tunnel remains dark. Nothing alters its position. The terminal does not anticipate arrival. It does not prepare to close. It simply remains. Steady, contained, continues. Concrete continues. Steel continues. Each element holding its place, aligned and undisturbed, as the final silent minutes pass beneath the sleeping city. A small signal tower stands beside the slow river. A single white light remains steady at the top. Water moves quietly along the bank. Nothing here prepares to change. The air does not feel cold. It moves evenly across the surface. The words can remain distant, like light reflecting off dark water. The river flows at an unhurried pace. No wave breaks sharply. No current pulls with force. The surface remains smooth. The movement feels contained, predictable. A narrow metal walkway leads to the base of the tower. Railings remain straight. No footstep crosses the boards. No latch turns. The structure feels balanced, firm against the ground. Time begins to loosen near the riverbank. Minutes stop marking themselves. The steady light replaces the clock. Nothing presses forward. Reeds along the edge remain still. Only the faintest shift passes through them. Then they return upright. No sound carries across the water. The bank remains quiet. The white signal light holds its glow. It does not blink. It does not dim. It remains constant. Its reflection stretches downward into the river. Water continues past the tower. Not fast, not slow, just steady. The current does not rush. It simply moves. Time spreads wider across the surface. Moments rest beside one another. No sequence forms. The pause feels sufficient. A small buoy floats near the far side. It drifts slightly, then returns. No rope tightens. Its position remains measured. The walkway boards reflect faint light. Edges stay straight. No shadow crosses them. No vibration reaches the metal. The structure remains unused. The riverbank remains firm beneath the grass. No footprint appears. No branch breaks. The soil holds its shape. Everything stays aligned. The signal tower does not anticipate a boat. It does not prepare to flash. It simply stands, neutral, reliable. The white light continues to glow. Its beam remains narrow. Its reflection remains steady. Nothing alters its pattern. Time loosens further beside the water. Minutes lose their edges. Presence replaces progression. The night feels evenly distributed along the river. Air moves once across the surface. Not enough to gather waves. Not enough to shift direction. Then it settles again. The water resumes its steady flow. The buoy remains upright. The reeds remain still. The walkway remains empty. No sound travels across the bank. Each element holds its place. No engine approaches from upstream. No paddle disturbs the surface. No beam sweeps across the shore. The boundary remains undisturbed. The tower remains vertical against the sky. The light remains steady. The river remains calm. Nothing leans toward motion. Time spreads again along the slow current. Moments flatten across dark water. Nothing presses the scene toward change. The stillness deepens gently. The metal railing remains cool. The boards remain dry. The soil remains firm. No shift suggests movement. The balance feels complete. The signal does not anticipate morning. It does not prepare to fade. It simply continues to glow. Steady, contained. Light continues. Water continues. Air continues. Each component maintaining its role without demand. No signal announces arrival. No wake appears on the surface. No sound crosses the bank. Nothing resolves. The small tower remains beside the slow river. The light remains fixed above the water. The current remains even and unbroken. Everything stays aligned, quiet and undisturbed through the long, steady hours before dawn. The signal tower remains steady beside the slow river. Its light keeps the same narrow beam. The metal frame does not shift. Nothing here prepares to respond. The air feels evenly balanced. It moves without direction. The words can remain distant, like reflections that do not travel far. Water continues past the bank in a quiet line. No wave sharpens at the edge. No ripple gathers into motion. The surface stays smooth and dark. The current feels measured, unchanged. Reeds stand along the shoreline. Their thin shadows fall toward the soil. No stem bends, no leaf detaches. The bank feels anchored, firm against the water. Time begins to loosen again near the tower. Minutes do not line up. They settle evenly across the river. The steady light replaces the clock. The walkway boards remain dry beneath the railings. Metal joints stay aligned. No hinge turns. No latch clicks. The structure feels complete in stillness. The white beam continues downward. Its reflection reaches into the dark surface. It does not flicker. It does not widen. The glow remains exact. Water passes beneath the reflection, not faster, not slower, just steady. The current does not pause. It continues without demand. Time spreads wider across the river. Moments rest beside one another. No sequence forms. The pause feels sufficient. floats near the far bank. Its shape remains upright. No rope tightens beneath it. No drift carries it away. Its position feels measured, balanced by the current. The soil near the tower remains firm. No footprint appears. No stone shifts in the grass. The ground keeps its shape. Everything remains aligned. The metal railing reflects faint light. Edges remain straight. No vibration reaches the frame. No shadow moves across it. The walkway stays unused. Time loosens further along the shoreline. Minutes lose their edges. Presence replaces progression. The night feels evenly distributed between water and sky. Air passes once across the surface. Not enough to gather waves. Not enough to change direction. Then it fades completely. The water resumes its quiet line. The signal does not blink. It does not dim. It does not anticipate a vessel. It simply continues to glow. Neutral. Reliable. No engine hum approaches from upstream. No paddle touches the surface. No distant beam appears along the bend. The boundary remains undisturbed. The reeds remain upright. The buoy remains steady. The walkway remains empty. No sound crosses the bank. Each element holds its place. Time sprints again along the slow current. Moments flatten across the surface. Nothing urges the river toward change. The stillness deepens quietly. The tower remains vertical against the sky. The beam remains narrow. The reflection remains intact. No shift suggests motion. The soil remains firm beneath the grass. The boards remain dry beneath the railings. The metal frame remains aligned. The balance feels complete. The signal does not anticipate morning. It does not prepare to fade. It simply maintains its position. Steady. Contained. Light continues. Water continues. Air continues. Each component maintaining its role without effort. No wake forms along the surface. No rope tightens at the buoy. No voice carries across the bank. Nothing resolves. The small tower remains beside the slow river. The white light remains fixed above the current. The water remains calm and unbroken. Everything stays aligned, quiet and undisturbed. As the long, steady hours continue before the first pale sign of dawn. The river continues its steady movement beside the tower. No ripple gathers strength. No current changes direction. The surface keeps its quiet line. The white signal remains constant above the bank. Its beam does not widen. Its reflection does not break. The glow stays exact. Reeds along the shoreline remain upright. No stem bends toward the water. No leaf detaches into the current. The edge holds firm. The walkway remains dry beneath the railings. Boards stay aligned. Metal joints remain still. No step disturbs the structure. The frame feels anchored. Time no longer feels divided. Moments settle evenly across the surface. They do not lead anywhere. They simply rest beside the water. The pause feels complete. Air passes once more along the river. Not enough to gather waves. Not enough to carry sound. Then it disappears again. The current resumes its quiet flow. The buoy remains steady near the far bank. It does not drift. It does not turn. Its position stays measured. No engine approaches from upstream. No paddle breaks the surface. No distant light appears along the bend. The boundary remains undisturbed. The soil beneath the grass remains firm. No footprint forms. No stone shifts in place. The ground keeps its shape. The tower does not anticipate change. It does not prepare to dim. It simply continues to stand beside the water. Steady, reliable. Light continues. Water continues. Air continues. Each element maintaining its role without demand. The river remains calm and unbroken. The beam remains narrow and clear. The shoreline remains still. Everything stays aligned, quiet, and undisturbed, as the final silent stretch of night holds steady beside the slow moving current. The radar dish turns slowly above the desert plain. A red light glows at the base of the tower. Sand stretches flat in every direction. Nothing here prepares to respond. The air feels dry and even. It moves without urgency. The words can remain distant, like signals crossing the sky unseen. The dish completes a measured rotation. Not fast, not slow, just steady. Its movement does not demand attention. It simply continues. A low hum rests within the tower frame. Not louder, not sharper. Even across the steel, it blends into the open air. Time begins to loosen across the desert. Minutes stop announcing themselves. The turning replaces the clock. Nothing presses forward. The access road leading to the tower remains empty. Gravel lies undisturbed. No tire mark appears. No gate swings open. The boundary feels firm, unchallenged. The red light near the base remains constant. It does not blink. It does not dim. It remains fixed. Its glow rests on the sand below. The desert surface remains smooth. No dust rises. No wind gathers. No shadow crosses the plain. The land feels settled. Time spreads wider beneath the rotating dish. Moments rest beside one another. No sequence forms. The pause feels sufficient. The metal support beams remain aligned. Bolts hold their position. No vibration travels through them. No tension shifts. The structure feels anchored. Above, the sky remains clear and deep. Stars hold steady in their positions. No cloud interrupts their pattern. No aircraft crosses the horizon. The height feels vast, but contained. A faint breeze moves once across the sand. Not enough to carry grains, not enough to alter the surface. Then it settles again. The plane resumes its quiet state. The dish continues its rotation. Air parts, air closes. The circle repeats. Nothing begins, nothing ends. Time loosens further across the open ground. Minutes lose their edges. Presence replaces progression. The night feels evenly distributed. The tower does not anticipate a signal. It does not prepare to transmit. It simply turns. Neutral. Reliable. The red light remains steady near the base. The steel frame remains vertical. The gravel road remains empty. No sound travels across the desert. Each element holds its place. No vehicle approaches along the horizon. No beam sweeps across the plain. No engine hum rises from the distance. The boundary remains undisturbed. The sand reflects faint light beneath the tower, then fades back into darkness, then settles again. The pattern feels measured, predictable. Time spreads once more beneath the dish. Moments flatten across the desert. Nothing urges the structure toward change. The stillness deepens quietly. The radar does not anticipate morning. It does not prepare to slow. It simply continues its arc against the sky. Steady, contained. Light continues. Steel continues. Sand continues. Each component maintaining balance without demand. No signal announces arrival. No tone breaks the air. Nothing resolves. The scene feels complete as it is. The radar dish remains under the open night. The desert remains wide and undisturbed. The red light remains constant at the tower base. Everything stays aligned, quiet and contained, through the long, silent hours before the first pale hint of dawn. Stays dry and even. It moves without direction. The words can remain distant, like signals passing beyond hearing. The dish completes another slow rotation. Air parts quietly around its edge, then closes again. The circle repeats without variation. The motion feels contained, unchanged. The gravel road leading toward the tower remains empty. No headlight appears along its length. No gate opens near the fence. No tire presses into the dust. The boundary feels firm. Sand stretches outward from the base. Its surface remains smooth. No ripple forms across it. fertile grain lifts into the air. The desert feels anchored in stillness. Time begins to loosen again across the open ground. Minutes do not queue. They settle evenly beneath the turning dish. The steady rotation replaces the clock. The red light continues to glow. It does not blink. It does not dim. Its reflection rests faintly on the sand. The glow remains exact. Steel support beams hold their alignment. Bolts remain tight in their joints. No vibration travels through the frame. No tension shifts. The structure feels balanced. Above, the sky remains clear and deep. Stars keep their fixed positions. No cloud drifts across the horizon. No aircraft crosses the darkness. The height feels wide yet stable. A faint movement of air passes once across the plain, not enough to disturb the surface, not enough to cool the steel. Then it fades completely. The sand returns to stillness. Time spreads wider beneath the turning dish. Moments rest side by side. No sequence forms. The pause feels sufficient. The radar arm continues its slow arc, not accelerating, not slowing, just steady. Each rotation mirrors the last. No vehicle approaches along the distant horizon. No beam sweeps across the tower. No engine hum rises from beyond the fence. The perimeter remains undisturbed. The gravel remains undisturbed along the access road. The fencing remains straight. The gate remains closed. No latch turns. Each element holds its place. Time loosens further across the desert floor. Minutes lose their edges. Presence replaces progression. The night feels evenly distributed between steel and sand. The red light remains constant at the base. The dish remains centered in its motion. The tower remains upright against the sky. Nothing leans toward change. The balance feels complete. No transmission breaks the quiet. No tone sounds from within the frame. No signal calls for response. The scene remains sealed in calm. Light continues. Steel continues. Sand continues. Each component maintaining its role without effort. The radar dish does not anticipate dawn. It does not prepare to slow. It simply continues its steady arc. Neutral. Reliable. The open desert remains wide and undisturbed. The tower remains anchored in its position. The red glow remains steady at the base. Everything stays aligned, quiet and contained, as the long, silent stretch of night continues across the plain without interruption. Holds its straight line. The radar dish holds its straight line. The radar dish continues its steady rotation. darts gently around its edge, then closes again without sound. The motion feels endless, yet unhurried. The red light remains constant near the ground. It does not blink. It does not fade. Its glow rests quietly on the surface below. Steel beams hold their alignment. Bolts remain tight. No vibration moves through the frame. No tension builds. The structure feels anchored. Time no longer feels divided. Moments settle evenly across the plane. They do not lead anywhere. The pause feels complete. A faint breath of air passes once more. Not enough to lift sand, not enough to cool the metal. Then it disappears. The surface returns to stillness. No vehicle appears along the distant road. No beam sweeps across the horizon. No sound travels across the open ground. The boundary remains undisturbed. The gravel near the fence remains untouched. The gate remains closed. The dish remains centered in its arc, each element holding its place. Light continues. Steel continues. Sand continues. Each component maintaining balance without demand. The radar does not anticipate morning. It does not prepare to stop. It simply keeps turning against the sky. Steady. Contained. The desert remains wide and unbroken. The red glow remains constant. The sky remains deep and clear. Everything stays aligned, quiet and undisturbed, as the final silent minutes pass across the open plain. The observatory dome rests above the dark valley. A narrow slit remains open toward the sky. A single white lamp glows beside the door. Nothing here prepares to rotate. The air feels thin and even. It moves without urgency. The words can remain distant, like starlight crossing the glass above. The telescope stands centered beneath the dome. Its frame remains locked in position. No motor hum begins. No gear turns. The instrument feels balanced, anchored to its mount. Outside, the valley stretches without lights. Tree lines form dark outlines. No cabin window glows. No road curves with headlights. Distance feels contained by shadow. Time begins to loosen inside the circular room. Minutes stop arranging themselves. The steady lamp replaces the clock. Nothing presses forward. Control panels rest along the curved wall. Switches remain untouched. Screens hold dim, fixed data. No cursor moves across them. The system remains quiet and complete. The dome opening frames a narrow field of stars. They remain steady in their positions. No cloud passes passes between them. No satellite crosses the view. The height feels vast yet stable. A faint current moves through the ventilation vent. Not enough to cool further. Not enough to carry sound. Then it fades again. The air returns to stillness. Time sprints wider beneath the dome. Moments rest side by side. No sequence forms. The pause feels sufficient. The telescope lens reflects a thin band of light, then darkens, then reflects again. The pattern remains measured. Nothing shifts its alignment. The metal railing along the upper walkway remains straight. Bolts hold tight at each joint. No vibration travels through the floor. No step crosses the grate. The structure feels secure. Beyond the dome, the mountain ridge holds its line. No wind bends the trees. No animal crosses the clearing. The slope remains unbroken. The valley stays quiet below. Time loosens further at this height. Minutes lose their edges. Presence replaces progression. The night feels evenly distributed between sky and stone. The lamp beside the door continues to glow. It does not flicker. It does not dim. Its circle of light remains exact. The entrance remains closed. No radio signal sounds from the desk. No keypad beeps. No chair shifts against the floor. The room remains enclosed. The observatory holds its position. The dome does not anticipate movement. It does not prepare to close. It simply remains open toward the sky. Neutral, reliable. The stars continue their distant light. The telescope remains fixed. The valley remains dark. Each element holding its place. No vehicle climbs the mountain road. No beam sweeps across the clearing. No engine hum rises from below. The boundary remains undisturbed. Time spreads once more beneath the curved ceiling. Moments flatten within the quiet air. Nothing urges the dome toward change. The stillness deepens gently. The walkway remains clear. The panels remain dark. The slit in the dome remains steady. No rotation begins. Everything feels balanced. Light continues. Steel continues. Stone continues. Each component maintaining its role without demand. The observatory does not anticipate dawn. It does not prepare to turn. It simply holds its position above the valley. Steady, contained. The mountain remains silent beneath the sky. The telescope remains centered in the dome. The valley remains dark and unlit. Everything stays aligned, quiet and undisturbed, through the long, clear hours before the first pale hint of morning. The dome remains open to the same narrow band of sky. The slit does not widen. The panels do not rotate. Nothing here begins. Inside, the lamp near the door keeps its soft soft circle. The light stays close to the floor. It does not reach the telescope. The air feels thin and steady. The telescope holds its angle. Lock pins remain seated. Counterweights do not shift. No motor starts. No tracking begins. A small status screen glows near the console. Digits remain fixed. No line updates. The panel stays quiet, waiting without instruction. Beyond the glass, the valley stays unlit. Tree lines remain dark. No road light appears. The ridge holds its outline. A faint sound comes once from the vent. A brief cycle, then nothing. Air settles along the curved wall. It does not cool further. The metal railing on the upper walkway reflects a dull line. No hand touches it. No step crosses the grate. The walkway stays unused. The slit frames a cluster of stars. They remain in place. No cloud passes through. The view stays clear, narrow, stable. A cable bundle runs beneath the console. Clips hold it in measured spacing. No vibration travels through the floor. Everything remains firm at the base. The dome skin contracts slightly. A quiet tick. Then stillness returns. No panel loosens. No seam opens. On the desk, a closed notebook lies beside the radio. No indicator lights up. No tone sounds. The desk remains exactly as it was left. Outside, the clearing around the observatory stays empty. No headlight sweeps the trees. No vehicle climbs the road. Distance remains undisturbed. The telescope's housing holds a faint reflection from the lamp. It does not brighten. It does not fade. The glass remains dark except for that thin line. A small heater under the console clicks once. Not warming, just maintaining. The room keeps its even temperature. Nothing shifts in response. The star field within the slit remains the same. No object crosses the opening. No flare appears. The sky holds steady at this angle. A slow breath of air moves across the floor tiles. It does not lift dust. It does not carry sound. Then the room returns to full quiet. The controls remain untouched. Switch covers stay closed. Labels remain readable in the low light. No action is required. The dome does not anticipate a change in weather. No wind presses against the panels. No rain reaches the roof. The mountain air stays calm. Outside the slit, darkness continues beyond the ridge. Inside the slit, the stars remain precise. Between them, the room stays still. Nothing asks to be noticed. The lamp continues. The telescope continues to hold. The valley continues continues to rest below the windows, and the observatory remains open, quiet, and unchanged. A narrow stair leads to the upper ring. Steps remain clear. No shadow climbs them. The ring light is dimmer than the lamp below. It outlines the curve of the dome. It does not spill into the valley. A latch plate sits near the slit mechanism. Paint marks show where it should rest. The handle remains down. No adjustment is needed. The console fan turns at a constant speed. Not loud, not sharp. It blends into the room, then disappears from notice. A thin cable runs to the telescope mount. It stays slack. It does not pull. Its clips remain tight against the metal. Outside, the trees below the ridge remain still. No branches sway. No leaves flash in wind. The clearing holds its quiet outline. A small red marker light on the roofline glows faintly. It does not pulse. It does not change. Its color stays contained against the dark sky. Inside, the desk remains orderly. A pencil lies parallel to the notebook edge. A folded map stays flat beneath a paperweight. Nothing shifts. The telescope tube remains pointed at the same patch of stars. No tracking motors engage. No correction begins. The alignment stays fixed. A soft click comes from a relay inside the panel. Then silence returns. No further sound follows. The room remains steady. Condensation does not form on the glass. The air stays dry. Surfaces remain clear. The slit keeps its clean edge. A small label near the main switch is visible in the lamplight. Letters remain sharp. No hand reaches for it. The switch stays untouched. Outside the slit, the sky remains clear. Stars remain precise. No cloud crosses the opening. The view does not change. The mountain road below remains dark. No headlight rises along the curve. No gravel shifts under tires. The boundary stays undisturbed. The dome panels hold their position. Seams remain closed. No wind presses against them. The structure remains firm. Inside the observatory, nothing requests attention. Nothing needs to be checked again. The room stays ready without demand. Quiet, stable, unchanged. The light remains steady in the slit. The valley remains dark below. The dome remains open to the sky. Nothing changes.